They buried him in his own tomb, which he had dug out for himself in David's city, and laid him in the bed which was filled with sweet odors and various kinds of spices prepared by the perfumer's art, and they made a very great fire for him. This image invites us to consider the tenderness of those who honor the dead, the care invested in preparing a resting place, and the reverent craft of those who offer sweet spices and fragrant oils. It speaks of a man who made provision for himself, not to boast, but to ensure that when the hour came, there would be a place of quiet and respect. We learn that even in endings there is intention, that burial is not merely disposal but an act of love. It teaches us about community, for the text notes that others participated in the ritual, bringing spices and making a great fire. In their service we see how people gather to shoulder sorrow, to transform pain into praise, and to surround a loved one with honor. Their work of perfumers is a small ministry, a careful art that turns ordinary substances into fragrant testimony. The smoke rising from the fire is like prayers ascending, a visible sign that grief can be offered up and that beauty can arise from mourning. More deeply, the passage calls us to remember mortality and the sanctity of preparation. The man had dug his tomb in the city of David, a place of memory and covenant. To be buried in that city is to be placed within the story of God's people, to be received into a lineage of faith. God honors our endings by giving them context. Even when life seems solitary, our stories are woven into the community of the faithful. There is comfort in that belonging. We also learn humility. The tomb had been prepared by the man himself, a modest act of foresight rather than a display of power. In a world that often prizes grandeur, this simple readiness teaches a quiet wisdom, to live with humble foresight, to prepare one's heart and home for the inevitable with dignity rather than panic. Preparing a place for death is also preparing a place for memory, and memory becomes a seed for those who follow. Lastly, beneath the surface of burial and incense there is hope. The careful filling of the bed with sweet odors, the perfumer's art, and the great fire are signs that love labors to keep dignity even against decay. In Christian imagination we hear echoes of resurrection promise, that what is laid down in sorrow may rise in glory. Thus we are called to compassionate work, to tend the dying, to uphold the bereaved, and to prepare places of honor both in earth and in spirit. May we learn to honor endings, to serve with fragrant hands, and to trust that God receives every tender offering, transforming mourning into everlasting light and renewing our hope.